Hi, Savi.
This fucking
I'm
guy.
in a tough situation with my parents.
Hmm.
So, I've always been kind of closer with my mom than with my dad, and she um, sort of confided in me and told me that she's had a secret boyfriend for 7 years.
Oh,
Um, and
what the
like
fuck?
she trusted me enough to tell me, but then ever since finding that out like a few years ago, I feel like I'm keeping a secret from my dad, even though
Because
it's
you
their
are.
Yeah, you don't
relationship. It's
feel that way.
maybe
You're
not my
doing
place
that.
to tell him. I just feel like this has affected my relationship with him and also my relationship with her because I'm kind of pissed
Yeah.
that
She has
she
like a
won't tell
fucking
him.
side piece.
Part of why she won't come clean to him is because they run a business together. Their lives are very much entangled
Holy
as like
fuck.
life partners, business partners, but they don't really have a romance going on. And I want them both to be happy, and I don't want them to have to like uproot their lives.
Their
But
happiness
I
is
also,
not your responsibility.
Thank you.
it's frustrating that their relationship is basically a lie. That this really important lie is just like I want the truth. I want the truth to come out without like
Yeah.
ruining their marriage. So
Well,
if you have any advice, that would be
without
awesome.
ruining their
I have no
marriage.
idea what to do.
I'd like to lose 100 pounds without dieting or exercising, but guess what? That's not fucking possible. First of all, let me just say, your mom wins dumbest bitch of the year award. What a fucking that's ridiculous. That's so shitty of her. First of all,
It's
like
horrific. I mean,
it's
what a
like-
wild asshole.
like, and I'm not even talking about getting dick on the side. I'm talking about telling
the daughter.
yeah, telling
No,
the
of
daughter,
course.
yeah.
Maybe they have a separate thing or
Yeah.
whatever. Like maybe they're like basic. I mean,
People, I like cheating is one thing that is like, or whatever. They have this bad relationship. It's still fucked up. Don't get me wrong, but to tell you, and then to force you to just kind of keep the secret is incredibly selfish of her. She basically is like, I could imagine her being like, oh, it feels so good to get it off my chest. And then it's like, yeah, because you've burdened your fucking daughter with
to
it.
your own daughter.
That's
It's
so shitty.
outrageous. What a ludicrous asshole
That's
your mom
so
is.
shitty. And
you need to just follow a lot of those accounts that are like tell you what to do with a narcissist because just go on Instagram. Here's my advice. Follow everything that's like this because you are gonna have so many problems because you think you're responsible for your parents to be happy. First of all, their marriage already it's a wrap anyway.
Yeah.
But you have nothing to do with their happiness. And yeah, you just need to listen to everything Patty Stanger, Millionaire Matchmaker, says about women.
well, yeah, I mean, so look, literally none of this is your fault. Like
This is
you're
how
saying.
a girl starts baking cakes for guys on their
Yeah,
first
yeah,
date.
yeah, yeah,
She thinks
yeah.
she's responsible for
Start
everybody's
baking.
well-being.
Here's what you're gonna need to do, baby girl. Find yourself a nice husband to get you out of this situation, okay? No, but truly, this guilt and this, like, your mom's truly a piece of shit. And I mean, honestly, if I were you, yeah, I mean, you want the truth to come out. I think what you need to say is like, here's the best case scenario, right? Sometimes it's too hard to do this shit, whatever. I think you should tell your mom, like, look, it's really unfair that I get that you trust me, and on some level I appreciate that, but it's incredibly unfair that you've saddled me with this. The guilt of this is really difficult for me, and I need the truth to come out. I at the very least need you to start
The
the process of divorce, of like, I know your lives are tangled, but this is eating me alive. And it's like, what's more important to you, your business or your fucking daughter's well-being, basically, right? And, now I don't know if
That was a really good monologue. Yeah, you should take some extensive notes. Saddled was also a great word choice.
Yeah, but it's like, and I don't know if this person will then, like, the kind of person that confides this to their daughter,
She's probably
is probably going to be a bitch
unhinged
about it.
narcissist.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
everything's about her.
She'll
She's always the
flip it
victim.
around. Right. That's a possibility. And if that's the case, then, and you've always been close with your mom, whatever. Honestly, if I were you, your mom has put you in the kind of position where you just need to get the fuck away from your family, to be honest with you.
Yeah, take a break from them.
Because if this guilt is eating at you and you're like, I just want them both to be happy, which is obviously what people want, like when parents divorce, like that's the mature thing to want for your parents. But like, she's put you in a position where it shouldn't be on you to break it to your dad or to like.
No, it's so inappropriate and
it's crazy.
Insane.
It's
and
crazy.
It's just so, and it's like, Yeah, you have to detach as much as you can from your family, and you're not responsible for their happiness or anyone's, and or for their choices. She should never have told you that. She should have had better boundaries.
Totally.
Go to a hostile amount of therapy.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
detach from your family and just try to reprogram yourself that you have no responsibility in any of this. She owes you an apology. That's
She owes you an apology, and to make this right, she has to fuck it. Like, the only way she can make this right is to just actually, like, you know, start to separate the family, start to do things in a healthy way, because it's when someone tries to make you an accomplice to their lie, that is so fucked up. That's one of the things that I found the hardest in my family was like, there's a lot of pretending. There was a lot of pretending for other people. There was a lot of like.
Can you give me an example?
You know, we'd go to Greece and my dad would make it seem like we were doing a lot better than we were to our relatives over there, because he couldn't just admit
that he was struggling.
Right. Or even like, you know, I've talked about this story before, but like we got into a fight with another kid one time. Me and my brothers fucked this kid up. And my dad, who always would talk about like how important family is, like to show the rest of the community that he had his sons under control, like hit me in front of everyone. He like fucking slapped me.
Oh my God.
And it was,
stop
I know, it was crazy.
So angry at him for doing that to you. That's horrific.
And I remember being like, I almost thought my dad was going to be, because he would say shit like, someone fight, you know, you have your brother's backs, like somebody, whatever. But then when push comes to shove, it would be like, to him, the idea of what other people thought was more important, right? Than your actual whatever. And that was the hardest part, and the way that I was even able to start rebuilding family stuff was just being like. Did you ever
confront him about that? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm working on it with my dad. I've talked about it on the podcast where it's like me and him have a tough relationship, but we're trying to figure things out. It's a little we're in the middle of it. It's a little complicated, but so this is. Honestly, this is kind of like a more distilled version of that, where it's like one huge lie that everything else kind of teeters on.
That hinges upon.
Yeah.
It gives you such a recipe for like just insane levels of anxiety and fear. And yeah, you're not responsible for.
And it sucks to give someone the advice of like, fuck your family, get away from them. Like, I know that sucks, especially if you're a nice person who really wants the best for them. And look, ultimately, if you can't do that, if you're close with them, I understand that. I'm just saying this guilt, your mom put you in a position where part of me is like, is she trying to get you to say something? Like, you shouldn't have to keep a secret from your dad. You shouldn't have to keep a secret for her.
Also, whatever you do is fine, because now that somebody's put like again saddled you,
you have carte blanche.
Insanity, do whatever choice feels right for you, and you're not going to fix anything. The relationship's already broken. If it feels better to release it and tell your dad, fucking tell him.
Yeah, it's up. It's
your mom
totally
should have
up
told
to
you in the first place, and do whatever you feel like doing, and yeah, give it a hard break from these people. I mean, my mom overshared, not about anything that like insane, but like. I know that feeling when, like, my mom's always, I mean, the first time she, like, held my daughter, she's talking about, like, our neighbor's lupus or something. She can't, she's always telling me dark stuff about people I don't know, like, or we were on vacation once, not a vacation, I was on a trip, and I was, like, she was staying in the room with me. I was on a gig. She came with me. And, like, in the middle of the gig, she started telling me about one of her friends who was acting out sexually. And I was like, wait, doesn't she like drive my carpool? She's like, well, Rachel, she's really acting out sexually and weaponizing her sexuality. And she always acts like I backed her into the corner with listening to this shit. I'm just finding out this bitch that drove my carpool is like whoring around. Like, can you give me a minute to digest this? And then she's like, Rachel, she's bipolar. I'm like, why are you telling me any of this? So I know that feeling of having a parent that tells you. My mom told me so much stuff that, and she was a therapist, and she would tell me about her patients. Like, I had so much in my mind about these dark, weird stories, and, so-and-so was accosted and it ruined her sex life with Roger. And, like, I always had these weird things and weird rules in the middle of it, like, people, but I should have known. She'd be like, people with breast implants are depressed, Rachel. I'm like, why would I? What's happening?
Yeah.
She was always doing that with me. So I just felt this big sense, and still carry the sense of responsibility for everybody's emotions in a room. And it's like the biggest thing I work on in my whole life is I think I'm emotionally responsible for everybody. So just like, it's like the seed of codependence.
Yeah.
So just try to like realize that you can detach from anything that doesn't feel good. And And
I also
that's
think,
okay.
and I think like she sounds pretty young. I don't think she's told us her age, but like, I also think there's a natural time in people's lives where you do kind of, I do think in your 20s, it's totally normal to go do your own thing, figure out who you are, and, you know, maybe if you want to see them for holidays or whatever, but, you know, there was a very important time in my life where I was figuring out how I felt, because you spend your whole life around these people. You don't get any time to think about how you actually feel about them, right? And like, there was a big moment in my 20s where I just was like, you know what? Fuck this. I literally didn't see my family for a while. I figured out what was bothering me, because when you're in it, you don't even know. And I'm sure if you took a little space to just think about this stuff, you would come up with a whole host of shit that, you know, that this big lie is in context of, you know?
Yeah, and I also think you'll find a peace with them eventually too. So like anybody, it's like you know, like even if your parents were disturbed in a variety of ways, like kind of figuring out how they were and realizing that you're not responsible for might help you accept whoever they are, or you know. So I feel like that's true with my mom. Like just realizing like, oh yeah, like there wasn't any reason that I needed to like you know any of this. That, you know, the lady who drove my carpool was like sampling dick around our neighborhood. It was really not
in that Volvo, in the same Volvo.
She bonded through telling me about like other people's like sort of darkness, or you know. So it's just like whatever, and that's
weird and potentially illegal as a therapist.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. The other thing you could do is buy a prostitute to frame your father. And if you're a real girl's girl, you know, frame your father. Make sure your mom gets the whole business. He's out on the fucking street and he got cucked for 7 years. If you're as toxic as your mom, that's what you should do. But good luck.
That was amazing.
Good luck, little buddy.